Hi there, Terry back again. Hope I find you well. Welcome to my latest video. While I was recataloguing my collection with the aid of the CLZ, I came across so many books I'd forgotten about. So I thought I would rectify that. I've started with a selection of Elseworlds books. Not my whole collection of them, but a bit of a bundle. I hope you enjoy them. And we will start with this one. Batman Dark Knight of the Round Table. There are two graphic novel style books published in October and November of '98. Jose Luis Garcia Lopez and Digital Chameleon with the covers. Bob Layton writes and inks. Dick Giordano pencils, and Digital Chameleon with the colours. Taken obviously from King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table, the Batman twist is when the House of Waynesmore is exiled by King Arthur, himself out of fear for the prophecies of Morgana Le Fay. Morgana herself sees her own destruction in young Bruce Waynesmore. She is right to be afraid, very afraid. And book two. Bruce Waynesmore is the Knight of the Bat, chosen by Merlin himself to protect Camelot. But can even he resist the charms of Talia, daughter of the one men call the Demon's Head? Now we have Book of the Dead, another two graphic novel style book, released in April-May 1999. The idea of the bat itself has been around for thousands of years, and it all began with Necron. Both books are written by Doug Munch, pencils by Barry Kitson, inks by Ray McCarthy, and colours by Dave Stewart. 14,000 years ago, a plot to overthrow Osiris began. Set, the evil god, wanted the world to himself and the bride of Osiris as a trophy, along with the Rod of Light, which holds the secrets of the universe. Part 1 was The Way of Darkness, and Part 2, Passage to Heaven's Light. Now in the world that is Batman, he, along with Sheila Ramsey, set forth to uncover the secret about the death of Set and the hidden truth of who did truly slay the beast of a man. And to show to the world that the Bat God known as Necron cannot be erased from history and the books. Next we have Batman in the Castle of the Bat, published in November '94. And looking at the cover, I suspect you can guess what Mary Shelley's creation this is based on. Written by Jack C. Harris, artist by Bo Hampton. A tale told in the classic manner of unspeakable crimes and unutterably evil, of dark places where people go at risk to their immortal souls, or a grotesque Batman who may be a saviour, a demon, or something far worse. Next we have Batman in Gotham Noir, published in March 2001. The cover and the internal art are by Sean Phillips, and it was written by Ed Brubaker, colouring by Dave Stewart. This one reimagines Batman in a film noir setting. The story takes place in Gotham City in 1949 and is told through the character of James Gordon, written non-traditionally as a hard-boiled alcoholic private detective. They are caught up in a massive conspiracy involving the corrupt mayor's office and connections to organised crime. And then a beautiful young woman turns up dead, and Gordon is framed for her murder. The Blue, the Grey and the Bat. This was published in November '93. The cover is by Alan Weiss, and it was written by Elliot S. Meggin and Alan Weiss. And he also did the pencils, and it was inked by Jose Luis Garcia Lopez, and the colours by Digital Chameleon. And just literally a little synopsis of this one is, in 1863, Batman protects a vital gold shipment for President Lincoln. Then we have Batman and the Order of the Beasts, published in July 2004. It was written by Eddie Campbell, along with Darren White. Eddie Campbell does all of the art, and Michael Evans with the lettering. I take it this is a respin of the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Let me know what you think in the comments, those that have read it. Bruce, just a year into being Batman. This story is set in the 1940s in the wartime UK. A secret society convenes with the supposed purpose of bringing new leadership to help with the war. But one by one, its members are found murdered. Only the dark detective can see the subtle thread that links the killings. Next, Batman Nevermore, a 5-issue run published through the middle of 2003. Cover artist was Bernie Wrightson. It was written by Len Wein and the pencil inks by Guy Davis and colours by Jeremy Cox. These issues bring together the world's greatest detective and the inventor of the modern detective story, Edgar Allan Poe. In Baltimore, in the late 1800s, a number of high-ranking citizens had been murdered in ways that defy explanation. The only link to the murders are sightings of a giant raven fleeing each scene. And we have titles: Once Upon a Midnight Dreary, The Hideous Beast, The Commotion of the Earth, The Fearful Scimitar, and lastly, Mask of the Red Death. I was going to go backwards and forwards with the different books for Batman, Superman and Justice League, but I'm sorry, it's just too hot. So this is the last of the Batmans, and this is at the beginning of 2000 that these 4 books were released. Batman Haunted Gotham. Cover and internal art by Kelly Jones, John Beattie and Daniel Vozzo. This story, written by Doug Munch, pits an all-too-human Dark Knight against supernatural villains that are blends of classic horror characters and Batman's familiar gallery of foes. Gotham City is cut off from the rest of the world by evil, and it's left for a very mortal Bruce Wayne as Batman to prevail against this horror, including a patchwork Joker with Thomas Wayne's face. And the titles were Hell's Hunting Ground, Night Creatures, The Shattered Serpent, and lastly, The Blood of the Bat. Probably the most popular and well-known Superman Elseworlds tale is this one, Superman Red Sun, a 3-part graphic novel. David Johnson did the cover and interior pencils, along with Killian Plunkett. Andrew Robinson and Walden Wong do the inking, and Paul Mounts does the colouring. This was published in the middle of 2003, and it was written by Mark Miller. What would happen if Kal-El landed in the Soviet Union instead of America? It was nominated for an Eisner Award. And the titles were Red Sun Rising, 1950s, Red Sun Ascendant, 1970s, and Red Sun Setting, 2000. Next, we have Superman The Dark Side. 3 books published towards the end of 1998. The covers and internal art are done by Karen Dwyer, Hilary Barter, and Patricia Mulvihill. It was written by John Francis Moore. They had no titles, just called books 1, 2, and 3. And this time, the rocket containing baby Kal-El crashes on the worst hellhole of them all, the very heart of darkness, the hellish apocalypse, where the last son of Krypton is reared without kindness under the cruel hand of the demon known as Darkseid, and stands poised to conquer Earth in the Dark Lord's name. Then we have Superman Kal, published in January 95. Cover and internal art by Jose Luis Garcia Lopez, and it was written by Dave Gibbons. In this reality, Krypton was destroyed around 1,000 years before it was in our universe. So Kal-El arrives on Earth in the Middle Ages. Kal is taken in by farmers who find him. He grows up to become a blacksmith. His strength is witnessed by a friend of his father's. Lady Louise learns of this and falls for him. It would only spoil the story if I got any further, and despite this story coming out 30 years ago, it does need reading. Next we have the Superman Monster, published in August 99. The cover and internal art are by Anthony Williams and Tom Palmer, the colorist Lee Luftridge, written by Dan Abbott. Straight from the mind of Mary Shelley, a Superman twist on her famous monster. A blasphemer who threatened the very laws of nature, but within the wreckage of a fallen spaceship, Victor Luther found the key to creating life. In his lab, he creates Superman, possessed of powers far beyond those of mortal men. It threatens to destroy not only his creator, but all those who come in contact with him. Next, Superman, War of the Worlds, published in October 98. Cover and internal art by Michael Lark. Roy Thomas did the writing, and the colouring was by Noel Giddins. This is an adaptation of the H.G. Wells novel. This is set in 1938, and it's being the first appearance of Superman, and also the same year that Orson Welles did his radio broadcast, scaring the life out of many an American. Primarily based on Superman mythology at that time. This story is set in Metropolis, US, rather than London, UK, where the Martian invasion is met with a Golden Age Superman, who is not blessed with the full amount of powers he has in modern times. And the last one of Superman, Speeding Bullets, and this is a real mix, because it's Superman becoming Batman. Dr. Wayne and Mrs. Wayne, this time, find the rocket. They bring up the baby as their own and call him Bruce. The cover and internal art are by Eduardo Barreto and the colours by Les Dorshid. It was written by J.M.D. Mattis. Bruce has a happy life until one fateful night. After a meal and a show with his parents, they take a shortcut through an alley and are met by a robber. Bruce watches as his parents are gunned down. The robber turns to Bruce and fires 2 shots. In a rage, Bruce loses control of his powers and burns the robber with his heat vision. The next morning, Joe Chill, the robber, is found face down dead, body burned almost beyond recognition. Next to him, they find Bruce, his eyes wide and unseeing, covered in his parents' blood. For more, you need to read this. Right, last change. This is the JLA created Equal. It was 2 graphic novels released early 2000, and the covers and internal art are by Kevin Maguire and Joe Rubinstein, with colours for the cover by Dave Stewart. Inside, we have Gloria Vasquez and Digital Chameleon doing the colours. Written by Fabian Echeza. The premise this time: a cosmic plague wipes out all males on the planet, except for Superman, who is immune and also a carrier, and Lex Luthor, who has protected himself. With male leaders gone, females take on the roles, working hand in hand with the superheroines, busy helping recover from the devastating losses. But Luthor has other ideas, especially for the son of Kal-El and Lois, a child raised by Amazons and Earth's means of rebuilding the male population. The Secret Society of Superheroes. 2 books published at the end of 1999. Cover artist and internal pencils by Mike McCone. It was written by Howard Chaykin and David Tishman. Jimmy Palmiotti did the inks and David Stewart did the colours. The premise. In an Elseworld where Clark Kent has led a clandestine group of superheroes against supervillains for some 30 years. But tensions are building between the altruistic half of the team, Superman, Wonder Woman, Hawkgirl and Metamorpho, and those looking for some personal profit, namely Green Lantern, Flash, Plastic Man and the Atom. Lois Lane is on their case, along with FBI profiler Bruce Wayne. Nearly at the end. These 3 issues were published between June and August 2000. The Nail was written and penciled by Alan Davis, inks by Mark Farmer, colouring by Patricia Mulvihill and Heroic Age. The first cover is done by all of them, plus Lee Luffbridge, but the number 2 and 3 are just Alan Davis. The brief for this story. Jonathan and Martha Kent are delayed from travelling to Smallville due to a flat tyre to their pickup truck, caused by a nail. They decide to postpone their trip. As they return inside their home, an object streaks across the sky. This story is rather graphic. Heroes and villains seem to off each other a little more regular than in the normal universe. Relating, I guess, to the lack of influence from a certain last son. We also have a war between New Genesis, Apocalypse and the Green Lantern Corps, as well as Oliver Queen's public betrayal of the Justice League. The loose ends left from these 3 books were tied up in the next 3. And that was Another Nail. All 3 covers are by Alan Davis, Mark Farmer and John Calitz. The story again written by Alan Davis and the internal art by the cover creators. It was published between March and May 2004. It makes the premise of the story rather mute, but we did know he probably existed by the first scene of the first book. I'm talking about Superman on the cover. Number 2. And then the last one of this marathon. Number 3. Right, well that's it. Hope you enjoyed the covers and the Elseworld trivia. Let me know in the comments which ones you read, which ones you haven't, which ones you'd like to. Please thumbs up and comment. And thanks for watching. This was a long video this end because of things beyond my control. So there's going to be a lot of editing done. So excuse the glitches. Stay well, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you. Bye.